get into WoW real fast? And
I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady.
All right, thank you, John. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Second Sons. I am too lazy, too busy to be caring about what the episode number is. As always, I am Roy Rogers of the Philadelphia Meta. I am joined today by my good friends and yours, the Second Sons themselves, as Aaron Glazer does not get to speak during this segment, so we can just skip right past my co-host,
Does that make me a mystery night?
Wait,
It might make you a mystery
hold on.
night.
I thought when he left and rejoined the podcast, it was like Skagos and all effects are cleared. He gets to start over again.
We did that for one episode, and then he threw it away. Classic. And then
it's like playing against builders.
Oh my god. Okay, we are joined as well by that sultry tone, the Avery Brooks of Thrones, Sandy Barnabas. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm glad we're finally live. Partially my fault.
Yes, we've had some health and technology difficulties. It's just been an all-around shit show of an episode. Anyway, we are also joined by the champion of my heart, Chris Schoenthal. How are you doing today, Chris?
I cede my time to my regent.
Okay, that's good.
You, Roy.
And that wonderful laugh that I'm so happy is the real Mystery Knight himself. Not only is he a Mystery Knight, he's just an enigma wrapped in a riddle of a man. You know, the war has finally come to the Second Sons.
Ouch.
I will
CT,
say,
how are you today?
I'm fine.
By the way, that joke was meant in good faith, all right, about that phrase in Martin's book, okay?
It's fine. It's fine. Now that I'm here, I will be the one that catches all the shit for being a sellout. So.
All right, good.
Time out.
He's also everyone's second favorite Thompson by vote. Like I saw
by
that
vote,
poll.
that's true.
I thought
That's
third.
just science right there.
So, I mean,
Isn't Clay
definitely
being
of the
about
Tom and the Thompsons, Jess definitely wins. The question is,
Oh.
which Mystery Knight is the bigger scumbag? Tom Malucci or CT?
I don't think
so-
we should talk about that in the sprite of being honest.
All right. And that is the sprite of Jonathan Andrews, a.k.a. Dark Naj, who doesn't have a camera, and we had to throw this together at the last possible second. So I wasn't able to do anything fancy to make a fake Naj appear or what have you. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the episode. We are going to get started right away, and I think we're going to start with only what? No, that's not true. Not only. Everyone but Glazer, Naj, and myself attended. So about half of us today attended U.S. Nationals. What? 2 weeks ago?
Just FYI, Roy.
Yep.
You know you're not actually on the stream,
Yes,
right?
I'm going to fix that as soon as I can actually pay attention to solving technical issues rather than doing that. I'm trying to throw it to CT to talk about coming in second place, but you just threw the whole cadence off.
Can we make him second place CT, like the new second place Seth?
Okay, second place CT is
that's
fine.
I've been calling myself that for fucking ever, and people just don't catch on to it.
Right, as long as you're
So
willing
you
to
had
like
to get second place at something good.
see. Here's the
Can
thing,
Canadian
and why
Nationals
CT is
doesn't
better
count.
than Seth is one. Well, okay, I'll save that joke. But
Sandy, there's
CT
nothing wrong
is
with
actually
Canada,
won
okay?
events before Seth won his single event. So, you know, as much as it's good to tease CT, he has won multiple events. So, you can't be too hard on the guy. But anyway, we'll start with this is actually a sad story. Chris, thanks to Sandy comboing you actually finished slightly less than your colleague here. So tell us about your nationals time while I try to make my camera work.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what there is to say about that game. I don't really want to relive that nonsense. That was not.
I could tell you exactly what happened. You drew 2 secret packs. I Karthed one, and I intrigue claimed the other, and that was the game. That was literally there was no other play. Like there was no play that either of us did other than that.
Yeah, but the rest of my tournament was real cool. It's funny because I played Drowned God in that exact same tournament last year on the advice of someone who's sadly no longer with us.
Man.
did
That
far
can-
worse.
That cancer.
It was a mono Greyjoy. I think it was Wars to Come.
It was
and
Wars. Yeah,
it
that was
was-
the version that Jesse and I tested. Yeah.
It was significantly worse. So all the orange cards helped out as they always do, and I had it felt it's funny because the like coming off Gen Con where I had no reps, like I'd ended up with a ton of reps with Drowned God, and it felt much better, but basically the same result. So I don't know what that says about Free Folk or Drowned God, but it was cool to play some combo for once. That I think I'm done with it. But yeah, it was a great tournament. The castle was really sweet. Will did a lot of work putting some bonus features in, like having Shatterpost Mint there, and having some local beer for sale there on the site was cool. I was able to buy Harrison our traditional sparkling rosé in a can, which is kind of a California tradition. But yeah, other than that, it was a great weekend. It was super fun seeing everybody. The mood was kind of strange, right? Because it was immediately following the sort of negative announcement or lack of announcement, more aptly, from the AMA on Friday. And so Friday night was kind of almost like a wake. We're all hanging out at Greg's house and just drinking and reminiscing and being like, where do we go from here? And then Saturday, we have 70 people hanging out in a castle in the middle of nowhere, basically. And it was just fantastic. It was a really cool get together for the community, and I think it was cathartic on a lot of levels. So props to Will and Kristen and Greg and Daryl and Jess for running it, and anyone else that I am forgetting.
Greg.
I said Greg. Yeah.
Slops to Mike Lamzik for almost getting Sandy disqualified for having the best version of Renly Baratheon available.
Sandy did almost get DQ'd during his deck check before day 2 because he had the best boy Renly Baratheon in his deck as opposed to.
I even made it to day 2 on time. Like I had a whole 7 minutes to spare when I walked in. I Instagrammed my breakfast and people commented saying that why was I not at the tournament?
Real quick update. I believe now I am visible on the stream.
Nope.
And
how exciting.
There's also I have a representation of John, our new mystery knight, since no one knows what he looks like, below me. So.
Oh, good.
Whoa. Why are you always on top? In prison, does that make you like a daddy there?
Done. Moving on. Sandy.
Hey, I can tell
Sandy,
you how to picture John.
how are
I can tell you how to picture John. Just imagine a baby, but humongous with stubble.
Can you do me one quick favor?
That's accurate.
True.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I'll talk about my Nationals experience.
Please do.
I going into it, I almost didn't play combo because I was thinking that Greyjoy deck that got published has a really good shot against me, unlike every other Greyjoy deck in the field. If people are playing that,
what beat you at Gen Con?
I don't know, sleep. Fuck you.
I don't know. It didn't seem to hurt Dan Struhal. Go ahead.
Well, Dan, I drove most of that trip, but anyway. So I was actually rethinking that, and as usual, my meta call was exactly correct. I lost to exactly that deck twice, and that was really the extent of my Nationals trip. I lost once in the cut and once in Swiss. I think I lost another game in Swiss because I'm bad, but that was neither here nor there. It was a great event. I had a lot of fun. I drove actually the guy that won. Actually, Team Carpool only lost to Team Carpool in the cut. I picked up Anil, Mike Arroyo, Mel Palmer, and Eric. I can't pronounce his last name. Leong, from whatever the L5R version of Nationals is, Grands, and we drove from DC to Springfield.
Wasn't that like
ours was technically a Grands also?
They're all the same, Sandy.
We don't call them by their official FFG titles here. We just call them whatever we want. As the longest running and surviving LCG, we get to set the rules, man.
So that's actually, I will say,
3 weeks.
It's actually CT's own fault that he lost, because if he didn't run Crasters, I would not have had the idea to drunkenly promise that I would drive from DC to Springfield and pick people up on the way.
Oh, damn my goodwill. I gotta quit bringing people into this game and causing people to get together so that Mike Ferrario doesn't come to Nationals.
Hey, CT, who'd you bring in?
Nova. Yeah, it was Nova. That was correct.
Well, CT, now it's your turn to talk. So tell us about what it's like to pilot a German deck successfully to second place.
I mean, it's fine. I played it. So like, I was like, this deck's cool. I haven't played Targ in a minute. I'll just change like these bad hired assassins into good cards and just play this deck. Because like, I was like, Americans are pretty bad. They don't know.
You've been talking to Glazer too much.
At least half my opponents had never read Unexpected Delay before. I'm just like, I'll be fine. It worked in Canada. I'll do it again in America. It'll be fine. Like, it has a good matchup against most things, and I won a bunch of games. I only had to face Drowned God twice. The first time I saw Drogon. The second time I didn't. It's a good.
You wish you could flip him.
Yeah, no shit, right? So, yeah, it was a good time. But like, the tournament was great. We hopped in Jess's new car and drove through a fucking tornado to drive into Springfield. So that was cool. And got hail damage like all over the fucking car. That was great. Good times.
Wouldn't be thrones that damaging your prized possessions.
I know, right? We should have waited like 5 hours.
Is that like couches or?
No, for example, Roy's Soul.
Or my soul, yeah, that's another thing that's up there.
That's the other thing. We ran into very little bad weather. Like we actually skated through. Like we had clear skies. It was amazing. Team Carpool was the way to go.
Team Carpool was very blessed that weekend.
Like Andrew Kim did not like turn down Team Carpool and had like the worst travel experience of his life.
He learned a valuable lesson there, right? Right, Sandy?
I mean, I'd have been all in for Team Carpool, but I was already like 75% of the way there. Like,
you mean a reasonable drive there?
Yeah, I know.
Not a 17-hour drive.
Potatoes, yeah.
Plus a train ride, because was it 20 hours for you, Sandy?
I don't know. I blacked out. I blocked a lot of it from my memory.
All right.
It was a great event, and like, good job to Mike. That Drowned God deck was a beast.
Yeah.
He played it right. He played it perfectly, and there was definitely more Drowned God than I thought there would be. So that was unfortunate for me, but super happy with my. I'm super happy that I could just bring Anil and be like, "Hey, go to Nationals. Sandy will pick you up. I'll hand you this Greyjoy deck," and he just like fucking go Kings of Swiss. Like,
so what we're saying is all the good decks come from Europe.
Right now, I think that's 100% accurate.
Doesn't that Drowned God deck technically come from Canada?
No. I mean, Sean's was terrible. David's was good.
Is that the order of that? I really don't know.
Yeah,
that is true.
I think that is the order of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the order. Sean
okay,
liked
that's
it
fine. I'm always willing to give David credit over Sean. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Sean gives David credit over Sean, so it's not like we're even being mean for once.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations to Will. Congratulations to Kristen. Congratulations to Greg.
I will say, I think the combo deck, while Hanno definitely changed to like the 6 cards that he needed to get that deck to where it needs to be, I do think that it's definitely Storm and Eric's deck from Ohio. That's an Ohio original. I don't think.
Yeah, but that's at best the 4th best deck in the game right now. Sorry.
I mean, Hanno went 7-0 with it. Just saying.
I mean, I was told by Darlene Pliss that only winning Nationals matters. So that's I'm not sure.
Euros is not technically a Nationals.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's actually a Continental. Let's be clear.
But it didn't win. It only matters if it won.
Yeah, second doesn't matter. First only matters.
Yeah, how you feeling about that, CT?
First or last?
Matter.
It's true. There's only 2 places on the spectrum, first and last.
It's true.
That's why I try to invite second place finishers to missing the cut, because you've missed the cut to win. That's the only cut that matters.
Except
AJ Rest, who I would assume is AJ, but who knows with this stupid shit, suggests that.
I assume it's Austin, right?
Oh, Austin? Sure. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
That's correct. That's why I paid $30 for him in a UK War, because he can literally play a ham. He was telling me yesterday, he's like, maybe I'll play a mill deck. And I'm like, you went 7-0 with a combo deck and you want to change your deck like 3 days before the tournament? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. That sounds good. You'll go 7-0 again.
Just let him do whatever he wants and then give the combo deck to someone else.
It's jams. Is it strawberry jams or
James? I think is what that might mean. I think it's actually Austin, because it does more closely fit Austin's, name than James. But who knows? They're brothers, so this could be just a long troll.
This is how Austin gets to be a regent. Just saying. If the name more clear, pays off its whole branding.
Yeah, I was told you told James Rossitano that he wasn't famous enough to be on Team USA, so.
Definitely not what I said. He wrote that part. I suggested that he should perhaps travel if he wants more people in the world to know who he is.
Okay, yeah, sure. Wow.
Is that not accurate?
I mean, I'm not saying that's accurate or inaccurate, but his way of saying that really isn't inaccurate to what you said, though. So.
Fair enough. But, no, generally speaking, if you're really, really great in one area, you're going to be less known than someone who's really, really great in a lot of areas, right? Like, that's not brain surgery. That's how things work.
I don't think that's correct at all.
Really?
In the real world? I mean, Picasso is,
No.
No. Einstein, they were horrible in everything else, and they were well known. So
I think he was specifically talking about regional.
Sons, now Renaissance Painters podcast.
Areas of greatness.
Oh, whoa, Chris, wait. So wait, Picasso was a Renaissance painter? This is just great.
I don't fucking know.
All right, okay. Wow, we really are an educational podcast is what we are here. We learn things like kindness.
I brought all this fucking class with me. I love it.
Of what a region is versus what an era or skill set is from John. And of course, art history from Chris Schoenthal. So, really, you should have your children watching Second Sons to become well-rounded
that brings up
humanists.
a good point in chat. If you want, theologians, I can quote you all day. You want some, some Hauerwas? I could throw some Hauerwas your way. That'd be fun.
Why don't you go into let's do some exegesis of the various words.
All right, canceling Sandy. Where's the button? I got one here.
Can we move on to our 18 other topics?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we jump into the thing that turned U.S. Nationals into a little bit of a wake, as Chris pointed out earlier. So, after many years, there's two stories that highlight this. One is Aaron Glazer... For a long time, people said he was the boy who cried wolf about the game being dead.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Lances memes.
No, we're not talking about that, John. We're talking about, is Aaron Glazer for a long time, he was the boy who cried wolf.
Then it was
but now
Mira.
He's become Cassandra, where he was the lone person talking about how the game is dead. And then...
I am Chicken Little.
No, Chicken Little is also acceptable as well. But now it's true...
Wasn't Chicken Little a Renaissance painter?
Glazer has his prophecy, it's really a rolling style prophecy because it's a self-fulfilling one. Because Glazer just kept saying for long enough that the game was dead. Eventually, he would be right.
What is the exegesis of this prophecy?
So, Aaron, I'm going to throw it to you.
Chapter and verse.
What did FFG announce about the future of the game?
Wait, game's dead, guys.
Show it though. You want to tell the what actually is happening?
The factual version.
The factual version.
So the words that were said, and I'm not going to try and read between them right now. They said that they will no longer be producing cycles. That everything will be a big box format, so like house box style, and that we may be getting further house boxes or further box size products, but we will no longer be getting any additional cycles. And they also went on to say that they had, I believe the quote was something to the effect of, had used up all the source material and that we'd had a good run. So feel free to read between those lines.
But I actually, on a factual level, though, I want to slightly correct Schoenthal because they didn't say box. It's based on the L5R clan packs, right? Which are somewhere between.
I don't know how different
they're not as big as a box, but they're much bigger than a chapter pack, right?
So it's like a parcel.
Yeah, so they're like a parcel. They're the Goldilocks of FFG products. Not too big, not too small. Just right. All right. So thoughts, CT?
So the thing I love most about this is basically the people who hadn't watched it, when everybody was in panic mode that Thursday, Jess went ahead and actually rewatched it, transcribed the entire interview word for word, and posted it in the Facebook group. And I can't help but notice that this past week they did sort of a summary of that Ask Me Anything on the FFG site. Nothing about Thrones was transcribed over. They're completely no-selling that anything about Thrones had been discussed in the interview. So that's pretty telling in its own right. But
we replaced Voldemort with CT so we can still have wrestling references. It's no selling. It's great.
That's what I'm here for. Your discount Jesse Carpenter. I may not bring
Look, dog. Look,
no,
dog.
I mean,
we all love you here,
It's a very steep discount. Okay. We don't pay thousands of dollars to have you on the cast.
I may not bring what Jesse brought, but I'm not taking all your shit away either. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seemed I felt in the interview himself, he kind of stumbled into talking about Thrones when he probably shouldn't have said anything at all. And
yeah, the problem was, though, his PR guy was asking follow-up questions, so I can't feel entirely bad for him. Evan was there,
that's true. Evan was there, but maybe the other two were just kind of clueless. I don't know.
I don't feel bad for FFG here.
It felt awkward. It felt like territory they probably didn't want to and should not have explored at this exact moment, especially the day before our United States Nationals. But what happened happened.
Yeah, I appreciated the candor, to be completely honest. I was sick of this obviously something's going on. Your parents are divorcing. They won't say anything. But they're not sleeping in the same bedroom.
So seemingly, the carefully chosen wording suggests that we're getting Targbox, one other mystery product, and then...
is the mystery product going to include the mystery night? Is that how that works?
I would assume so. It's a box.
Is it got Tom Malucci didn't really get his card design printed, so it got printed into...
That's true. He doesn't have his name on it. So does he even have it?
So, and then if George writes another book, and maybe they'll bless us with another box.
So my analysis
Which is even more damning than just saying the game is dead. Yeah. It's more damning to say
it's actually worse.
Releases a book. We'll make more cards. Fuck.
So
why am
I think it's the ultimate feud of fans, isn't it? You're not getting that book, right? But you're also not getting cards until you get that book. So really,
what I really hope happens is in January, Martin's like, "Oh yeah, the book's done. It comes out. It comes out in June," and FFG's like, "Fuck."
Now we're stuck. Yeah. Do more content.
Couple of notes here. One, I think that probably, and I don't know who in the community, but a significant percentage of the community probably owes Mira an apology for relentlessly attacking her every time she posted about the game potentially being dead. And Glazer,
they would have. That I have never refuted anyone's claim that the game is dead. I just don't want to hear people bitching about it every day.
Right, and I'm sure that would have happened to Glazer too if Glazer had stayed in the group and posted stuff about the game being dead. It definitely happened in group chats where Glazer kept saying the game was dead.
Yeah, hey, so should we build this Tyrell Kraken deck? Fuck it, the game is dead. Hey, we ready for some Gen Con testing? Fuck it. Did you put your games in the sheet, Glazer? Fuck it. The game is dead.
That was literally his excuse once, actually.
And then shrug.
It really was.
So then it's but Aaron, you played the games anyway. Shrug.
The biggest mistake Roy made in his life was telling me
that he paid $28 for Targaryen. Fuck it. The game is dead.
I will say a couple of other things. I think that this is actually, I think CT is right. This is the worst of both worlds because, speaking of, full disclosure, next month I'm going to a tournament for a game that's been dead for about a decade now, and I'm flying to fucking Texas for it.
Only 1 decade? Weak.
Yeah, I know. I'm not Star Wars.
Which game is this?
Star Trek. CCG. It's But if if they conclusively said after this last pack, like after Reflections or whatever they want to call it, the broken links.
Mystery parcel.
Sorry.
Oh, I would just die if they called it Reflections. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. God. And there's just foils of old cards in it.
Yeah, that was awesome. That would be a great send-off.
Hold on, though, because I've heard that they literally are putting foils into Destiny now. So they have foil technology.
Anyway.
Oh wait, they're putting foils in Destiny.
It closes the game, and we can say, okay, the official game is over now. We may or may not have people doing whatever. Like there may be a players committee. We may run tournaments. Like I think Stalik would still go on no matter what. Maybe become an L5R tournament, but whatever. Like I think there's
Wait,
that gives us
a castle is leaving us for Rokugan.
I don't. I'll let you know in a couple of months. But this way we can't even take over. Like there's no burying the body. There's no way. Like we can't just move on. We're stuck. Waiting for content that may or may not come.
Right. Let's use Aaron Glazer as an example.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if Aaron died, we'd be able to go to his funeral and feel bad. But if he just disappeared one day, like in the subway in New York, then we would just be always looking for him, right? And that's what you're saying, right, Sandy? Like we're going to always be looking for thrones?
Right. I mean, who knows? George R. R. Martin might take some amphetamines and write the novel and publish it next month.
Guys. We have done a remarkably bad job of covering this topic. Can we move on?
Well, I mean,
they're just going to do it like they did the board game, right? Otherwise, they're going to remember that they have the IP, right before it expires, slap a couple products out, and because at the end of the day, they view our card game as a board game more than a card game.
It'll be a really sweet meme when the mystery parcel ends up being exactly $12.
All right. I guess speaking of mysteries, we should definitely, transition.
You're welcome.
We should definitely transition into talking about Thronestoberfest, which I believe is the next major piece of Thrones news.
No.
What'd I miss?
We have UK War.
Right.
Yeah, but
UK War is
Thronestoberfest first.
The World Tournament.
Okay. We got to look towards. We've done a show since the UK draft. Okay. Sandy, do you not remember this?
All right. I didn't read the chat. Sorry.
Anyway, you and Buzz talked about the drafting experience.
We did? Yes, we did.
We did.
All right, cool. Anyway, speaking of drafts, Thronestoberfest, which has definitely not at all been controversial, right? It was totally just normal, average day of my life. I got up in the morning, hungover.
This is the best Roy Rogers production I've ever been a part of.
I am sure someone drafted Roy's dog.
Sadly,
I would draft Mira.
She was one of the options for who the quote mystery knight would be. So, right, it was Mira and Rue, right?
I will take the blame for some of this, Roy. You don't have to fall on the sword.
Oh no, my sword is already wet with my own blood. It has been from many other Thrones events as well. But anyway, so Thronestoberfest draft was Sunday, which Sandy Barnabas was our auctioneer, and he did a fantastic job. Eventually, wrangling the cats, aka Aaron Glazer, who proved as obstinate and difficult as ever in getting it going.
What did I do? I thought I was well behaved for that bullshit. For me,
the game is dead.
Fuck it.
But Sandy did a fantastic job. I really want to congratulate the Regents who all actually made this process very smooth, very easy. Most of the debates that we had were very civil and pretty much unanimous, unlike last year. So it was great to have that. And I really want to thank Trey, friend of the show, #1 Second Sons fan, for joining me when Sid was unable to join me for the commentary. And I think we actually had a really great broadcast. But before we jump into the teams and who we think kind of won the draft and how it's not Aaron and Chris, we should probably...
Who would claim that it was?
I'm just joking.
We didn't.
So
I mean, you guys are solid middle of the pack.
Yeah,
You have a great
I
team.
think we're close,
Like,
I
honest
think
to
we're
goodness.
close to the top. I just think Stark for $7 left them real good, and Roy's dumb ideas left Martell real good.
Yeah, my dumb ideas. So that's what we're probably
First
best
of
to
all-
talk about.
First of all,
Um,
I will say that was a side effect of me being drunk on Saturday night. I wish I had a meme. Alla and I were looking for a meme of us, like Roy having this idea, and it was probably fine. And then Alla and I throwing gasoline on the fire and like basically turning it into a shit show.
that is
So-
unfair to both of you. So anyway, this is for those of you who are not involved in following the drama, which I hear that the Game of Thrones community is drama free, so you may not be caught up. Tom Malucci approached me. He signed up actually Lucas Reed signed up technically after the deadline. So Tom Malucci was the last person to sign up. And he messaged me, he said, "Hey, I want to just be done under a pseudonym." And I said, pseudonym, like, that's just like, let's just do a mystery night and make it explicit. And he said, "Okay, that sounds great." And after thinking about it, I was like, you know what would be really fun? To double down on this mystery night thing. And then I told my wife, who thought it was a great idea. And then Sandy, who was hanging out with me on Friday, I told him, and he thought it was a great idea. So the three of us ran with it. And then Tom also ran with it. And it became like a meme in that drama group, the Shade Room that Sandy started.
It's not a shade room.
It's 100% a shade room. Okay.
No, a shade room is what my parents just added onto their house.
Whoa, we just learned a lot about Chris's parents. All right, so what was my point here? Oh, anyway, it proved instead of to be a fun lark, which is how I largely viewed it as, but proved to be very controversial. People believe that it damaged the competitive integrity of the draft, and of course, Tom Malucci is the Mystery Knight, and he went for $15, $12. $12. Which blew my mind at the time because I thought it was extremely obvious that it was Tom and that people would still bid over it. But Team Martell got sweet value for getting Tom Malucci for $12. And so basically the Thrones community, both the semi-public and public Thrones community, has spent the last couple days debating the merits of the Mystery Night. So I will throw it to CT. You've been actually relatively silent through most of this. What do you think of this whole Mystery Night thing? And then we'll go to John, and then I'll let the people who've been a bit more vocal about it.
So I'm biased. I don't care. Fuck you if you're mad about it. I've been involved in so many fucking war-based controversies, and it's never like I'm always the one that's like either stressing out about it or it fucks me over. So I don't care. Like, I'm fine. I'm gonna take this one and just be happy for a change. Things have balanced out. I do think that like you were trying to just like have a good time and do something thematic and different and new, and I don't know what the fuck happened, and I wasn't a regent obviously, but like I was under the impression for like a week before the draft that Tom 100% was coming. So when I was told there was a mystery night, I was just like, okay, Tom is being fucking goofy for some reason, and like I was under the suspicion it was Tom the entire time. But I guess that was not the case for some of the regents who were told that false information was involved or whatever. But, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that bad to me. But nobody will believe me because basically Tom Malucci and I went for $39 combined, which is a pretty fucking good deal. So I can see why people would be salty.
Wait, are you on Team Martell? I don't know who's on what team.
Yes, obviously.
It's Tom and the Thompsons.
Figure that out by
is
context.
Team Martell.
It's Tom and the Thompsons and the Tom and Tom connection all brought back together once.
Yeah, there's 2 Toms and like 3 Chris's or something on that team. Something stupid.
3 Toms, I think. Yeah, 3 Toms.
3 Toms, 2 Chris's, 2 Thompsons. Like, what the fuck? Be more original.
All right.
You gotta stack up your fucking shit, man. Branding.
Mr. Andrews, Dark Naj, what do you have to think about the Mystery Night entering
people
the draft?
can't be mad about this. It's ridiculous. Thrones War is a for fun, have a good time event. It was created in order to make teams and for people to have a really good time. It wasn't supposed to be super serious like Joust. You know, people make, laughing comments about Melee, but if you want to talk about a less competitive format, it's Thrones War, right? It wasn't meant to be competitive. It was meant to be a good time. So you did a good time thing in a good time event. Oh, Roy, you're a good time man. Everyone should be mad.
All right, we'll throw it to the people who are more mad. We'll start with Glazer, and then we'll go to Chris.
Everything in the stupid community causes drama. I just wanted to quiet like 3 straight days, and Roy couldn't let me fucking have it. Roy can go to hell. Let's continue.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I have never met anyone who is. Oh, whatever. Okay, I'll let Chris talk, and then I'll yell at Aaron.
I'm not listening. I'm totally just texting.
I mean, I don't know where to start. Like, if you want to say Thrones War events are supposed to be uncompetitive and like casual, I don't know where you're getting that impression. Like, that it's a unique format, but that doesn't mean it's supposed to be just like fuck around. Like, that's not the point of the format at all. Like, I think that, and I expressed some of this to Roy privately today, that I think that it was a weird thing to do after coming off of not wanting drama to happen to like create drama. That felt weird to me.
There is no
especially
drama in the
after. Yes. Tag here, everybody.
Chris, before you continue, I want to say one thing, because I definitely know that it's been said in Sandy's Shade Room about this. The idea that I did this to create drama in the sense of pages and pages of people calling me,
Like,
I don't know, a
like
fucking...
you've never met this community, dude.
Well, hold on,
Like,
let me fucking
Right.
finish
No,
my
that's
point.
my
I want
point.
to go on about this, because I've been feeling it for the last couple of days. Like, the idea that I did this to create content for Sandy's shitty group is bullshit. All right, I did it because I thought it was fucking funny, and I thought people would enjoy it. All right, and the fact that they didn't is fine, and they think that they blew up the competitive integrity, that's also fine. But the thing that I did this to create drama is bullshit, like super bullshit, and I don't appreciate it. And
Sure.
all
And I
right,
want to be clear,
go
that's
ahead.
not what I was saying.
I know I'm not accusing you of that, Chris. I
I
apologize.
know. I know you're not. I just want to clarify that that's not. I'm not. I don't imagine that you went into this saying, haha, I'll create a shitstorm. I understand that you went into this thinking, oh, this won't be that big a deal, but you underestimated on a couple levels.
Oh yeah, I
and
agree.
So
100%.
What about that conversation I had with Roy where he said, I'm going to specifically tell everybody but Schoenthal and Glazer that the Mystery Knight is Tom Belushi?
No. I knew it was Belushi because Roy specifically told me it wasn't, and I've met Roy. He's like, I'm lying about this, and I'm like, okay, Roy. I just wasn't drafting Belushi.
You told me
Belushi
in the hour before the draft, you told me that it 100% was and 100% wasn't. So
no, because
That's
then
not how math works.
it is.
Only on
I
maybe
just
your
wasn't drafting.
plebeian
You know,
math.
like, he doesn't like it. I only draft people I get along with for Thrones War. I feel like it makes my life better that way.
Yeah,
Definitely
so
does make your life better.
sure, that's not.
That's why having
that's
Matt
not the
Jenkins on
point,
your team
though,
is sweet.
So,
No,
but
no,
I mean,
I get
that is in direct. Like, I actually agree with Chris, shockingly, but I think that Chris is missing a few data points. In other words, I think that Chris's position is totally valid, and I think the war primes that I have been to have been run in that way with a very, I don't know, focused is probably the right word. It's very rigorous in terms of what isn't, like, the information that's allowed, the draft pool is set, the card, like, restricted lists or changes don't take effect. Like, everyone is, like, the information is very well known. I think Thronestoberfest historically, and before this, like when it was first in a format, has been run differently. In that there's been incomplete information, and it's been less rigorous in terms of being optimized for regents, and it's more optimized for players. So in that sense, I don't think that this actually, like, this adds an element of unknown to the regents. Like, they can't model this Mystery Knight's wins. They may or may not have some level of confidence of who it is, but there's a high variance in terms of going all in or not on that. And I don't think that makes it a worse format. I think that makes it unique and interesting. And for, like, Chris, no offense to you, but you've been a regent, like, what, 3 times now? 4 times?
Oh, probably more than that.
But you've been a regent, like, you've done this quite a few times. And I feel like there's something to be said for giving people who are first-time regents and newer regents something to level the playing field with, so that somebody who has like a like strategy worked out ahead of time doesn't totally just run the table.
How does this level the playing field, though?
Well, McKenna's never been a region before. He now has a good player and has spent his errors
Right,
are
in retrospect, it levels the playing field. But how would you like if we
no
had drafted him for $13? Like the going in is the point. Like if this had been stated up front like multiple weeks ago before I signed up, that would have been a different story. But when it happened,
it was still
Friday
known before the draft. It was known before the draft. It wasn't like you went into
less
the
than
draft
48 hours before the draft.
Yes, that's plenty of time.
Plenty of time to know that suddenly a random factor has been added? No, it's not.
What would you do differently? Like, what would an extra week do for you? Like, what would you do in a week?
I probably wouldn't have signed up to be a co-regent.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, honestly, like, there's numerous people who are very, very annoyed and have valid reason based on how they view competitive Thrones to be very, very annoyed. That's not an invalid perspective, nor is that it's a casual tournament an invalid perspective. That's literally and purely only a matter of opinion, right? Like, there's not a logic or data point one way or the other. But if you view this as a competitive format and you went into it competitively expecting this to be that, then you are going to be disappointed by this action. And if you didn't, you're not going to. If you thought this was casual, you're not going to. Mystery Night, it would have been, yes, Vac, it would have been nice if it were known well in advance. But, like, I mean, it would have been nice, like, I feel bad for, like, Mel Palmer, who is, like, the new regent that's supposed to benefit, who straight up asked Tom if it was him, and Tom said no, and then, like, felt shit on and betrayed. Like, that's not cool. Like, it sucks, right? Like, that's who that's supposed to benefit, and she tried really hard, and she put all this work, and there's this variable that kind of screws everything up for her. And, like, cool, you had your joke, but, like, this was always going to cause this to happen, and, like, or at least with enough notice, and it's just where we are. Like, there's nothing for it. It is what it is. It exists, but, like,
there's
not a for it now.
Like, it wasn't like Tom signed up 3 weeks before and said, hey, by the way, I want to do this anonymously. Didn't he message you literally 48 hours before?
But then literally 48 hours before, you say, hey, this is going to cause a giant problem. No.
And
right? Like, you're under no obligation to be like,
okay, what the alternative would have been, okay, then Tom's like, okay, then I'm not coming.
Okay.
I mean, hypothetically.
Like, cool. But, like, another alternative is Chris might not have come, dude, if he knew. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, what makes Tom and his specialness in being a Mystery Night matter so much more than everyone else's? Because I don't think it does at all. And, like, I genuinely don't really care.
That's deep.
Like,
Glazer. I was following you up to literally you just said that bullshit. Because you just laid out this whole long rant about your feelings about this issue, and then you're like,
these aren't my feelings.
I don't really care.
Oh, I don't
really
care. I've dedicated zero time to really think about this, but that doesn't mean I can't understand a different perspective and can't understand why it bothers people. I totally get why it bothers people.
That's totally fair.
I get why it bothers people too, but I don't.
I
think
get why it bothers people too.
And I can definitely confirm that Aaron was very unbothered by it the whole time.
I was just like.
And it bothered me how little it bothered him.
Yeah, well, as usual, right? That's how it works.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can still sleep at night.
That's a real hallmark of Glazer in my relationship.
Well, I mean, I sleep very comfortably on my ill-gotten
Yeah, you can sleep comfortably knowing that of the 3 U.S. wars, you're still only the second shittiest war organizer.
That's true. That's a truly great offer.
Although, to be fair...
Way to steal jokes from chat, CT.
Oh, was that in the chat?
Yeah, Colin said that. Like,
wow, what a way to just like continue that Thompson House tradition of just theft. So
I just checked, guys.
Sorry, I
killed
learned
this horse dead.
I can't fucking shake it. I'm sorry.
All right, so are we ready to move on from this?
Yeah. Chris,
and actually talk about whether the draft was poison or not. It is an event that is happening. And good news to Mel and Ibri, their team is actually really good. So even if Mel was utterly betrayed by Tom Malucci, she and Steve did a great job. I mean, having Alejandro, I think they have a really, really solid team. and I was very impressed, Mystery Knight or not, with the team that they drafted.
Can we also the Luch doesn't play Martel defense as well? Can we throw that one in there?
That's a great
No,
one.
I mean, I have literally $100 on the line on this, so I will say I'm very confident that the $12 they spent on Luch could have been spent better on Matt Kraft.
Literally irrelevant to the conversation.
Sure. No, I'm just saying, like, you guys are talking
possibly matter less.
Well, it does matter because the argument is there's this unknown that gives people an advantage or disadvantage or whatever, and it's actually not going to matter at all because you guys all fucking pay way too much attention to your models of drafting as though it actually matters, as though this game isn't fundamentally random. You just
wait, hold on. I gotta interrupt this before Glazer and Sandy whip their dicks out to compare here. I have a question from the chat for you, Sandy. Was that bet with Jesse?
It should have been with all of Wausau. I would be out like $3,000 when I lose it.
Or they'll be out $3,000. So it's a win-win.
Collectively. No, I don't. I think that the faith that people have that this is like strategically winnable is misplaced.
You just bitch earlier about how Hano is definitely worth way all that money because of the what? Literally in the chat a few minutes ago.
So Worlds, there's this tournament.
That's
I was saying Hano was worth that much money because of ripple
February,
effects.
John. But we should probably talk about people's actual teams now. That's what I was trying to do. Like, particularly because if you guys want to kick me around for a while more, I've got no problem with that. But this argument, I don't think is really any more productive. So what teams do we think are the winners? I said that I think that Mel and Ibri actually drafted a very solid Team Stark. And I know another complaint from people is the unsettledness by the restricted list, which is actually an argument I'm willing to have and have many and I will defend my position about this. Unlike the Mystery Knight, which I'm willing to fold to public opinion about it not being a very good decision. But I will say that it is a good decision that we're doing the restricted list because, as Sandy pointed out earlier, I think it's more fun to play in a live format than in a dead format, particularly one that was locked in 2 months in advance. People can disagree. Like, I think it's cool that the Thrones War in the UK is doing it differently, but I think that the way I'm doing it is better. Because
I know a big selling point for me was the likelihood that there will be a restricted list.
Yeah. So the
question is, was it the particularity of the restricted list, or was it the fact that there was going to be one?
I'm just like, I assume that there will be a heavy restricted list before Thronetoberfest, and I want to go to a big tournament with a brand new meta, or at least hopefully a brand new meta.
So it's the particulars of the list that we're expecting.
Yeah,
I think the fact that whatever restricted list is going to shake the meta up relatively significantly, you would think, right? It's relatively solved, right? Right now, the game, like Greyjoy is good. If you're not playing Greyjoy, you better be beating Greyjoy. But most of that means you should be playing Greyjoy, whether it's Drowned God or mid-range. Maybe you can play cute Targ decks to second place. But if you want to win a tournament, you gotta be playing the Drowny Boys.
Squid cards, yeah.
But anyway, what teams do we think? And Glazer and of course,
I can tell you the other.
Their own team.
I can tell you the other two.
It's unfair to ask Regents to judge their own draft, at least why it's live.
I can also judge my own draft. I can tell you exactly where things happened. So but I don't care.
Anyway, all right, fine, Glazer. Then tell me, how did your draft go?
So I think it went reasonably well. My 3 $10 people I thought were going to be more expensive, and the fact that they just fell to me makes me feel significantly better about the draft. And there were 3 actual cheap players I was targeting. Well, there were 5 cheap players I was targeting for if I screwed up and spent too much money, and I definitely screwed up and spent too much money on Targ. I think they're really good. I just don't necessarily think they're top 2 house in money good. But I got the $1, the cheap players I got were on the list of those targeted, and those that weren't ended up going for significantly more. So I felt pretty good about that. I still think Two Houses ended up having better overall drafts, but I think we did like really well as a general rule.
I think your guys' Stark team is fantastic. I just don't know why you spent $28 on Targaryen.
Yes. Shut up,
Chris, do you more or less agree with Glazer?
Yeah, I do. I think we got a lot of good value in those in the mid-range players, and some great value at the near the bottom end, which is great.
I mean, you got Jenkins,
I'm really happy to
amazing.
Right, and obviously, that's one of those familiarity things. Like Jenkins might not have worked as well for another team because he doesn't have somebody local to play with. So I'm happy to test with him and stuff.
Same thing for Sam, right?
Yeah, both of your $1 players I think are significantly above where I would put $1 players mentally.
I mean, flat up, I think that Jenkins is just simply a value player. He's a great teammate. He's fun. He puts the effort in. He's exactly what you want from somebody who's at the sub $10 level.
You guys would probably win most value on team morale if you hadn't drafted Platt.
Yeah, that's true.
But Abel, Jenkins, Mansell, these are people that are going to bring insanely high morale to the team.
You don't understand. Can you guys keep shit talking Platt? Because I'm telling him every bit of it, and he's testing so fucking much.
Do you want? I have a notebook. This notebook is my Platt hate book after what he did to me at Thrones War this past year by not practicing and getting the best deck. So if you want, I could just read some of the poetry I've written about Jake Platt.
But you know what the difference is between me and you? I'm an asshole, and me and Platt understand each other. You're a nice guy. Platt can just
I understand Platt pretty
well.
The
other thing I've been pleasantly surprised by with having Platt on this team, for those who don't know, he was on my Martell team at the spontaneous gathering at the Domino earlier this year. But he is very excited to have real cards to play with again. He's been on Martell. I think he was on a Barra team that
he was
on
on
Oktoberfest last year.
He was on Stark when Stark was very strong. Do not let him.
Yeah, but you guys, all you idiots wanted to play. Well, let's not wonder who to blame. Fat Cat decks. Let's bring 10 Fat Cat decks.
But whether or not Fat Cat is good or bad, if there's a single deck that should be the Platt deck, it's this degenerate passive power deck, right?
Anyway,
it's not Cat. That's not.
Let's not talk about Jake Platt anymore. His ego's big enough. I want to talk about your Targ pick. Did you guys go into it wanting specifically Targ, or was that just where you happened to land?
So I'm selfish. Chris, you're gonna yell at me about this later, but at my core, I'm selfish, right? I'm fairly generous a lot of times, but at my core, I've been thinking a lot about first edition with the game dying. And I would like Targ a lot in first edition. I just wanted to play Targ again, kind of. I think they're really good.
You weren't just hedging that they're not going to get affected by the restricted list, were you?
I mean, they're unlikely to, given that 3 of their 4 best cards are already restricted, right? But
Danny's the one that's not?
Oh, no. Drogo. Okay. Drogon or Drogo. I guess 3 of their 5. But, it's real hard to argue against Marine and Hisdar, right?
And Plea
Bottom given Second Son's prevalence. But no, because spoiler, Dark Gods made a bunch of really good Stark decks, and I knew the second I got Derek, I really should just get Stark. But I really wanted to play Targ, and I really don't like playing Stark, and that's ultimately what it came down to.
Nice.
I feel the delta between the prices in Targ and Stark is problematic.
Wait, I didn't think Stark was going to be $7, right? I thought Stark was going to be $20.
I still don't know why I'm stuck playing red cards.
I don't understand.
When Matt could have played Stark.
I can only just imagine if your guys' team and Mel and Ibree's team switched houses, how much more comfortable your top players are, especially in top 2 or 3 slots.
Alejandro and Benji both play Targ, right? Or does Benji only play Night's Watch now?
Oh no, Alejandro's been playing a ton of Stark recently, though, right?
Alejandro's been playing nothing but Stark.
I mean, he's one of the best players in the country. I put a ham sandwich in Alejandro's hands, and I'm happy. So,
ham sandwich meta.
Ham sandwich meta, OP.
Although he had a rough
I mean,
Voldemort
I think
hanging out
Glazer
the domino,
definitely-
right? Didn't he end
I
up?
think Glazer definitely
4-3?
overpaid, but I'm not sad about Targ. Like,
Well, I mean,
we
like,
could have had a few more bucks and maybe price and force a couple players better, or.
I mean,
But, I mean,
Jess,
I don't dislike
right?
any of the players on our team. Yeah, I did too. It's true.
Yeah.
Jess for
Jess-
11
Jess
was an
is a big
absolute
miss.
steal.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't like you all can whine about the mystery night thing, but how Jess went for $11 and as late as she did, I don't understand it. Like
Yep.
I
mean,
didn't
we
understand
didn't-
it at the time.
we didn't have money.
Well, no, but I don't know why people didn't like throw her out earlier as like
Right.
that kind of like
Or
get
when they were
people
like
to spend money kind of move.
maybe
Wait,
3
well-
teams that
But what I
had money.
really don't
Like,
understand,
why they weren't fighting for her.
I have no idea why she's not on Team Lannister. If you spend $1 on a faction and there's that
I mean-
player left, that should be on your team. I kept
So,
waiting for
we
that.
actually
They were
debating-
too busy paying $15 for Roy for some reason.
We were
I
actually
agree.
debating that the entire draft. I was in the chat with James and Mike, and like we made sure we were at least $1 ahead of Lannister the entire time because we knew Jess was going to come up eventually.
I mean,
Yeah,
look, I agree. I told Matt that he shouldn't buy me. I told every single person who asked that they should not buy me. I said on the stream that they should not purchase me. But part of Matt's goal was to have me on his team. So, like, he had Sean screaming, taking a break from cleaning his room and making his bed to scream at me, to scream at Matt about buying me, like overpaying for me. So, and then
So, but they missed
See-
Humbert too. Like they didn't catch them all.
I
They are
know,
the
like,
worst Pokemon trainers ever.
They
the
missed
Humbert,
two,
we
right?
failed to get the Humbert meta. I mean, we've got like Colton Storm, and
No, they
like,
missed one. I think they only missed.
No, they missed Race and
No, they
Slade.
missed 2.
we missed N
No, I
race.
thought they
We
got
got
Slade.
50-50.
Oh, my bad.
So, I
You
had
guys, I
Race
just
on my
went back
team
up for auction apparently,
for
according to
Team
the chat.
Tyrell and loved having Race on my team. So, I was sad when they failed to get them. But
I mean, yeah, sure.
I was too busy counting my ill-gotten gains from the Thrones Toberfest draft to really impact what Matt was doing.
I'm very curious why anyone on Earth let Stark go for 7. Everything else makes sense to me. Like the Jess thing was just people
Or
running short
Martell
on
for
money.
3. I think Martell for 3 is pretty low.
I get that because, like, man, if Desert
My
Raider,
favorite.
well, if we think Restrictless is coming, and if Desert Raider gets restricted, and if nothing else comes off, Martell, I mean,
Martell got smashed to the ground, right, by the post-Worlds restricted list, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it like Orange Cards have had a bad 2019, right?
I do think
I
one
get it.
thing people that were not in the chat may not know is every time like there was a significant pause below market value, Glazer would be like, "Oh, is that what we're doing?" And then somebody would
It
bid.
worked
Oh my
every
god,
time.
I'm so
was
glad I
fucking
was not in
hilarious.
that.
every time it was so
call.
great. I just started shit talking, and people bid more.
like I think Martell was sitting at 1 for a while, and you were like, "Oh, is this what's happening?" And then somebody bid 2 and 3. Like,
Oh, you should have just started saying "shrug" into the mic, and then that would have just gotten people to.
It's not bad. But like I disagree with that Martell is that bad, but I understand it. I do not get Stark because you can try and raise Stark to the ground. Stark just has a lot of goddamn cards. I think they're worth like double what they were.
So the fundamental question though is if like Skagos and Mira get restricted, like if both hit the list,
Yeah, they'll be fine.
do
I
you
still
they'll be
think
fine?
Stark is well worth $7 in
I
that
think
case.
Stark-
I mean, it's
I think
definitely worth
so, yeah.
$7.
I think Stark is worth $15 in that case, maybe 20. Like they're not that hard to just like you just build a bunch of goddamn rush decks.
It's
I
kind
will
of thematic, right? Like in the show, like all the Starks died, but then they ended up on the throne in the end anyway. Like it's the same deal.
I literally
I'm
cannot
a bit more
believe
skeptical than Glazer.
that Barra and Tyrell went for $1 less than Targ. Like that to me blows my mind. Like
Well-
those factions are not that
I
strong.
think Terrell went for $1 more than Targ.
Mira, well, I got it right here. Hold on, give me a second. So Mira and Talia
I
got
don't-
Tyrell
less,
for 27,
Oh, that's okay.
and so you all got Targ for 28. Barra went for 27. So
At
Tyrell
that
and
point,
Barra
and
tied.
Yeah, we're paying the not Laney tax. So
The- Yes.
I mean, that just makes Martell even better. Like they
Sure.
I mean, as a representative for Martell, I was definitely going to say there's nothing about our draft that I'm unhappy with, but now my regents are trying to give me away, so fuck them.
We'll take you. I like you. I'm telling you, I'm Team Thompson's.
I saw the bids. I know you wanted me.
Well, you're the only person in Thrones I agree with consistently. Literally the only person.
I don't know how to take that. I don't know if I am okay with that.
I mean, I got one word for you, CT.
Wow, you just said CT's wrong half the time.
More than half.
Yeah,
It'll literally play
I got a 5-letter word for you
To be
about
fair,
this.
team now.
Shrug.
The game is dying, guys. I don't know.
Okay,
if
it
you
is.
To be fair, if I've played Knights of the Hollow Hill Targ for a month, you probably knew which deck I was wanting to play.
Any more Thronetoberfest thoughts here?
Here's a weird question. I don't even remember who has Barra.
Austin
Martin.
and Martin.
Team
I'm
race
sorry.
car.
Team race car.
Team Race
Aston
Car.
Martin.
They have Euro Bro. They have the world's biggest Aaron Glazer fan, Andy Boyd.
I like Andy.
They got
He bitched
Todd.
about me a lot.
They have a significant portion of DC.
Yeah,
basically.
they have a
Yeah.
good DC group, plus the Euro Bro. So, they're a solid team. Like,
I just
I
think
don't.
Barra's a wild card in the meta. Like, it's so hard to know how Barra does at anything, right?
Well, if Barra doesn't get hit by whatever restricted list comes out, which it probably won't, and I think it's in a good spot. Like, we've seen that there are some Barra decks that can do really well. They've been published. The
Has
players
anyone-
there are pretty consistent.
I know at least one person has, because CT's played everything. But have you guys played that Barra Summer?
I've played the cohort, not the summer.
The Bear
Yeah,
Summer, the one that
The what? Yeah, the Euros.
the Euros one. I've
Like,
not,
those,
I played
those-
against it. I beat it with Tyrell Shadows.
So I don't think I think that player is good. I don't think that deck is good. Like, I
I
know
like
that.
that. I like the Barra Summer deck, but I changed like 15 cards in it.
Yeah, I don't. Right? It's not. It's just not there. Like, that dude must be incredible. Like, I'm not shitting on him at all. But, like, I've played that deck a lot. I've seen it played. I've played against it. Like, it's
Well,
fine.
Hano's attachment
Hanos is
deck
nasty.
is better.
Hanos is nasty.
Are we talking
Yes.
about Axel's deck?
Yeah,
Yes.
Axel.
Yeah,
I
it was,
do
and it was
prefer
funny too, because like if you read some of the stuff he posted after the tournament, it almost felt like he was as surprised as anyone. He was just like, "Well, here's the deck that I guess I won with."
Yeah.
Sweet trip to
think
world. To
I
worlds.
think the Kohar is far more consistent, and I prefer it. for
But
sure.
like, that's two people, right?
mean-
And now you can't play Rose Cohort.
Well, I think
And-
that Breton's like a Barra mid-range control build out of Wars is acceptable. Like, I think that's a good approach to the format. Like, you saw it do well at Gen Con. Like, I think if you take an approach like what Wasa did, like at
Yeah, the
at Gen
Prince-
Con.
Do they?
Like,
do
so we
they
have at
have
least
any?
three semi-reliable, four
But those-
wins or better
But
decks.
but what you're missing is that, like, and I literally don't know who's on Barra, but like, those are all real hard to pilot. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like Barra is
think the
I make a
cohort's hard to
mistake and
pilot?
no, that is
Yes.
the exception. I think the cohort is the easiest of them, and even that's like comparatively hard compared to
But
other
you can
houses.
play the Cohort deck and just win games. But
Right.
it's not an easy deck to get out of every bad situation.
That's
Yes,
I mean that's the
that.
classic aggro
like,
trap,
but,
right?
But the other Barra decks, I just feel like they have, like, if you make a misplay, it's punishing.
Mhm.
With Barra, in a way, it's not necessarily for other factions. And like, they can win, but they require a lot of perfect play, and it worries me. So I think they're just a wild card. I don't think they're bad. I just think they're a wild card.
This is the first war I will be participating in like 12, where there was not a house I was dreading to end up on. The first time this has ever happened.
Except
Me
Lannister.
either, because I get drafted.
I mean, if I ended up on Lannister, whatever, because I'm going to be playing a bunch of Lannister in the next few months anyway.
Gee, why? Let's transition.
But I'm.
So, is the final top.
Wait, you just broke up. You there?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just getting my last beer. The final topic is UK Thrones War, right?
Wait, no, we didn't
No,
do.
World Cup.
World Cup, right? I forgot about that.
That was
I'm
the whole
sorry.
transition.
We literally just transitioned it, and you.
Yeah, that's.
I
but he's playing
apologize.
Lannister.
I'm sorry. The World Cup. So if me enriching myself on the back of Thronetoberfest draft, if Jesse doesn't, if all the drama we've had over these years doesn't destroy the Thrones community, there's a good chance nationalism might. And why is that? Why is that? What, CT, because you're the Thompson representative here, why might nationalism destroy the Thrones community?
It's not. This is actually real positive.
Yeah, I mean, for all the lulls, this actually seems to be a really good thing for the community overall.
So what is it?
I do think it. So the World Cup, I guess I'm explaining it. So
Yes.
Anil. So this goes back all the way to like Crasters.
All the way. Oof.
All the way back to fucking June, eons ago. Anil was
800
just like
throne
going on
dramas
and
ago.
on. What?
800 throne dramas ago.
Yeah, it's probably accurate. Anil was just like, hey, we do this World Cup for L5R. He's like, you should organize it. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of work. No, but that sounds great. We should do that eventually, probably with more than one person. And basically, so like Anil's been to like 3 tournaments now, and he's super invested in the game. And he's like, all right, we're going to do this World Cup thing. And I was just like, all right, fire away. So here we are. And like basically his plan was to just convert it exactly the same as he did for L5R. But I think it was funny that people were super invested in this idea when there was going to be 3 United States teams because of our
fucking
geographical
hilarious.
expanse. And then when it became 1 U.S. team, lots of people were just like, all right, whatever. So it's pretty great that the East Coast, the West Coast, and the Midwest were really looking to duke it out. But now we all have to be friends instead and just band together as one. But I do think that I haven't been involved with the process of building the team
I have.
or
So has
anything.
some other schmuck here.
Other people will jump in on that here shortly, I'm sure. And I actually do think we've put together like a crazy cool team of fantastic players for the U.S. And like the team itself has other people involved from deck building, organization aspects. It's pretty great. It's the first time that kind of like all of the United States is playing together as sort of one meta. I think it's cool.
Midwest is slightly overrepresented, I think, with 4 people, and the West Coast only has 2.
So Sandy, since you have it open in front of you, why don't you
Suppose-
tell us what Team
Suppose
USA
has more
is?
than 2.
Oh, I don't have it open in front of me. I just remember doing that analysis because I wanted to start some drama.
All right, while we're holding
But
on
I do. Okay.
I mean,
have that.
if we want Jess to announce the list, I can have her walk in here from the other room. And
No, apparently Glazer's going
Do
on
it.
about how they
Yes.
announced it on their official Team USA Olympic Committee page.
I mean,
so.
literally
Which is
everyone
funny
here knows
because I
that but
helped.
you.
I helped with the organization, but I am not part of that group, so I don't even need the team.
And I can't share it. So yeah. Anyway, it's Tom Bellucci, the Mystery Knight himself. Colt Humbert,
Okay.
who's
Fair.
from Midwest, obviously.
The real oldest Humbert. Continue. We'll subtitle them.
Alejandro,
Okay. All makes sense. Yep. Following along. Where's the controversy?
Mike Arroyo,
Okay.
Guess what
Nick
house?
Hansen, which is a surprise to me because I thought he was a garbage player.
All right, Nick, we're getting there.
Called
I'm
out.
surprised Nick makes the famous enough for Glazer metric. Okay.
You're surprised
okay.
Nick is famous enough?
Okay.
That's not my team.
I hear he's an obscure Wausau player.
Alex Black, which is
It's
a
in the
blast
chat.
from the past.
Ooh, all the blacks are back. Okay.
That's you're not
Are we
allowed
allowed to say that?
Derek Shoemaker,
All right, Shoe.
the Northeast Zone. Another blast from the past, Nate Tarantelli.
Whoa! There we go. That's a spicy pick.
Okay, I
And
want to
Chris
clarify.
Thompson.
Nate has never gone anywhere. He just has a new job, and he hasn't been able to take time off for like 4 months.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
So he
are
made
you
it-
saying we
so-
should
so-
call it a
from
comeback?
Columbus.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Sandy, don't forget. So it's literally true he hasn't gone anywhere. Because,
No.
but in the Thrones community, he has gone somewhere, aka not to events, is what you're saying.
Right.
but
And actually,
he
he did
literally has
technically
gone
move.
somewhere.
Yeah, he moved from Columbus to Chicago. So
I mean, no one
yeah.
can doubt. Anyone who's seen Nate play you can't doubt that he's a great player. So, and a good dude.
I think Nate actually
Wait.
also technically has the highest win percentage of everyone on this team. I think
Oh, I think it's still Lucci. It's close.
very
um,
close. Yeah.
It might be Nate though.
And then we have alternates.
Wait.
The
You
alternate
forgot
list is
CT.
actually
You didn't actually say CT.
No, I
Stop,
said
didn't
CT.
Ooh, Glazer didn't make the
Okay.
cut. Hashtag.
So I'm
I'd
actually
be surprised.
surprised.
Hey, four numbers, not bad.
Yeah, Glazer and Chris Schoenthal didn't make the cut. Those are the two names that I would. Well, no. Let's be honest. I would expect to see Chris Schoenthal here. I would not.
Why would I
expect
be
to see
there? I have no
Aaron's not
business being
famous,
near this
nor is
list.
he successful.
Good. Yeah, no, I don't. I also don't. I go to fewer tournaments somehow than Nate. But go ahead.
Schoenthal turned down a spot on the team. He found out
Alternates.
there was a mystery night.
Schoenthal did turn down the spot, and it was
Okay.
like seriously.
Daryl is all.
like-
Oh, these are the
Wait,
alternates.
shh,
Okay.
shh. There were 7 people that like sat there and poured over like serious amounts of data about players for this. Like this took a long time. Like Trey was involved, so you know there were some numbers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
But it was
this
a
is a
lot.
surprisingly this is a very balanced list. I actually am behind this list 100% for the most part. Yeah. Alternates Sam Bratz, who I don't know why you guys have him as an alternate, but
So
like
So that's
So he
actually
doesn't
kind of
play
a funny
anymore.
story.
well, yeah, we were kind of told. Well, 2 reasons really, right? Like, and this is a nightmare of a list to make, right? So we're cutting out 1 million good players and trying to figure out 1 million good players. But Bratz apparently wants to test for this, and if Bratz is testing, we all know Sam Bratz, right? Like, no one's gonna be like, that shit player. I mean,
that was
Wasso.
actually
Like-
actually a drama group scoop in that I posted Bratz saying, "Shit, I have to build decks and play now."
Well, he doesn't have to build anything because he'll be an alt. The other thing is that alts have to be good at multiple things,
Yeah.
and Bratz can kind of play anything. So like,
he is one of the goats of the game. So.
if he's called on to play a top tier deck on semi short notice, like you just hand Sam that list and watch wins happen,
So
which is how he
That-
ends it, right?
that's actually like, do you remember the Thrones War where no one else in his faction had a winning record,
Yeah.
and he was king of Swiss?
The Team
Yes.
Stark team, it was
I
just like
might.
an actual murderer's row, and all of them were like sub 500 with Bratz.
Included on that team, me, Johnny Wright, Dustin Archer, and John fucking Bruno.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a bunch of nobodies. in
Bruno
Bratz.
is a Targaryen at the Thrones War format. He flips a coin, and sometimes it turns out that he's a monster, and then other times he's just like wants to play board games. So, and just the year he was on Johnny's team, the coin ended up board games.
It
But
was
then,
a
like,
bad year.
the year before
No.
that, right, the year that Chris and I were on Team Stark, like, John made a huge deep
No.
run, right, into the top
He's
8.
he's been great every year, but that year, like he was great this year too. Stark
Literally
was just,
on Targaryen.
yeah, Stark was just an actual disaster. But let's move on.
So, Chris Vack, another alternate, and another player whom you can hand literally any deck to, and he'll be fine. Dustin Archer. So this is actually one disagreement I have. I would have put Dustin in the main list and Colt as an alternate for the reasons that you mentioned about being able to pick up any deck.
So, there's
We already have Shu.
yeah, we already have. Well, Shu's already on Stark, right? And
What
yeah.
faction is Colt? Tyrell?
That's
Colt
one
is
probably-
going to be Terrell.
Tyrell,
So
okay.
there is a dearth of players that in the modern meta have anything like a positive record with Tyrell and Lannister and Barra. Like, it's real rare to find people that have any, like, willingness and ability to really play and know those factions. And that Colt is one, and that he's so successful at it puts him in that spot.
And then he enjoys it. Let's not also remember.
And that he enjoys it, right? Like, that he's willing to, like, dedicate the time to that faction that a lot of people genuinely just aren't, right? Like, and that he's been putting the time in, that he's got the reps, that, like, a big thing that we kept coming back to was, and, like, despite what CT's teammate suggests, players are better with different styles of decks.
Yeah.
And the
Players
fact,
prefer different styles of decks.
at
Let's
least
just be
prefer,
fair. Yeah.
I also think generally better, right? Like, you'll focus more. If you've played control decks 3,000 times in Thrones and you've played aggro decks 20 times, you're not going to make up those reps in 3 weeks.
I think there's a certain amount of muscle memory involved, but basically, yeah, it's just like any good player can play a deck as long as they practice with that deck.
Yes. How
I mean,
well?
that's a truism. Anyone that practices with a deck becomes a good player playing that deck.
I know a lot of people have played a deck 100 times and they're still fucking garbage. It's not necessarily a law.
Right, but
Right,
that
they
doesn't.
didn't
right.
hit that,
I don't think that means
that
they're.
Gladwellian 10,000 reps with
Look,
anything. So
Look, no one's gonna say mid-range Chris, former national champion, is bad.
Continental, whoa.
Okay,
Continental.
Excuse me.
Canada has to care about Schoenthal's record
I
too.
just,
Come on.
I just thought the whole continent was America. Excuse me.
Well, he is literally the
I
northern
do
Really?
part of
think, like,
America.
Platt reminds
Mexico,
me also.
Canada, States, say one country, America.
Platt's comment reminds me. I think it's important for us to note that we don't expect combo to be an option by the time we get to the World Cup, right? So Tyrell is kind of in especially a funky place.
So, but like he's still mid-range Chris, right? Like he can play a control deck, he can get reps, but he's mid-range Chris, and he's still a phenomenal player. But like, what are you giving him to go to a tournament? Do you want
Free
the best
vote.
result? Free full, right?
Free
Free
Worked out pretty well once.
Although
Do it
Drown
again.
worked out pretty well too. He had a better Swish
Sure,
record.
but like I said during the Open, like I picked up that Free Folk literally before Gen Con. I hadn't played a game before I sat down round one, and I went 5-2, and then Drown God. It took me, if you haven't noticed, the Lances like Drown God. So Drown God's been kicking around our chat, and I've been playing it for 6 months on and off, and I still don't feel like I played optimally. So
I think muscle memory is severely underrated among Thrones players. And I mean, unless you give Luch Wars, can you give Luch some attrition so we can really test this out?
I mean, I think this argument
Crossing.
has like a lot to
Crossing.
do with people who
I will-
import their attitudes about this from Magic, which is useful, but a useful heuristic, but not 100%, because the 8 factions and the ways in which that card pool interacts, I think makes it somewhat more different than the way in which Magic, high-skilled Magic players operate. Like, I'm not saying that.
You named it right, that it's a heuristic. It's not a constant.
Right.
Also, Luch has had one really good run with a nutrition deck. Kubel last year. He played Max
True.
Much Wolf.
He literally beat me on the first plot. It was great.
I mean, it's not his wheelhouse, but I don't see why he couldn't, play it well.
But
Do it.
he's
Send it
also
to him.
played legitimately broken decks and flamed out. So, aka Drown God. So.
Sure, but he also picked up a Drown God deck like the week of the tournament, so.
Yeah, it's fair.
I mean, that happens to everyone too. You can always have an unlucky run, right? Like the best player can get unlucky and just not make the cut. That's part of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, the
part of all
one
card games,
thing
right?
that I've always said that we do share with Magic is like the top tier of players have like a 70 at best to 65% win rate. Like that's a little better than a coin flip. Like,
And I mean, again, the only card game that has a big enough data set to really make these conclusions is Magic. And even some of the greatest people who've ever played Magic are still floating in the 60% win rate.
Yep.
So.
I would like to take a brief moment.
Wait, can we finish the list?
Oh yeah,
Do we miss
it was
we're
Eric
still
Green
alternates.
We got
Yeah.
up to Archer and then we stopped.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk
Eric
about a
Green.
real list. Team Canada.
Wait, we've
Yeah.
got like
We're
3
gonna get-
people
we'll
left.
get
Can we
Team
just
Canada
finish?
next.
2 people left.
Just
So
joking.
Sean
Wait, I haven't
Emmerly
introduced
and
them.
a
Wait.
miscellaneous.
Eric Green and Daryl Weber. I haven't actually seen Eric play recently. I don't think.
He was at Nationals.
And that, you were there.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him play. Like I haven't
Oh.
I wasn't watching his games. I didn't see how he did. So someone else talk about Eric.
Eric's
I
nasty.
I think he's one of the
cards.
most underrated people, one of the most underrated players in the country. Like the
Yeah.
only thing people remember him for is mismarshaling his bodyguard, but that was in the World Championship game. Like you don't get there by
Okay,
accident.
sorry. That's
he's
the
somebody
list-
I never
Eric,
want to
list
sit down
of jest.
across.
Okay, I'm confused. Yeah, Eric's great. He's a great player.
Eric top 4 Kubla.
And he top
Um,
8'd not Gen Con, I'm sorry, Red Saturday last year. Like,
Mhm.
I think he actually made it to top 4. I think he won. Like, Eric is a really good player and a really nice guy. So, like, I don't quite
He
understand.
just
literally
doesn't,
cannot
he doesn't
remember what he
travel a
plays.
ton. He doesn't travel a ton, and he's very
Except for when he
quiet
just
when he
randomly
does.
shows
So
up in New York.
he's not.
Yeah,
He
like,
doesn't.
He was in
He
New
doesn't
York and
interact
he
a
was
lot
at
with the
Nationals.
community. So
In a community filled with loudmouths, Eric is definitely a quieter dude.
And importantly, Eric is like he plays a lot of different shit, so he's in that alternate spot for a reason.
He falls into that like Jimmy style, like Jim Hansen style, like plays somewhat unusual decks, willing to innovate, willing to take risks. Same with Neil. Like they're all, I think, relatively similar in that way.
So to give you an idea of how good Eric might be, Alejandro, who I consider like top 3 in the country, just said Eric's better than him. So
and
they're NorCal, right? Eric's in NorCal too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the reason I was saying I don't know, I haven't seen him play is like I literally cannot remember any decks that he's played recently. Like I don't know. He doesn't seem to have a signature deck that he likes.
That's a big reason why he made it.
Yeah,
he plays a lot of start.
No, I mean like Eric being on this list makes perfect sense to me. Like so.
And last is Daryl.
In case you guys need another person to play builders, I guess. That's what I'm assuming he's for.
I was told by Jess that actually was pretty specific. That like Daryl.
So Daryl literally just has to have an updated builders list, and if the Night's Watch person is like, "Oh man, feel a little under the weather," Daryl's like,
"Keep your builders list up to date, and keep your cell phone close to you, just in case."
Sort of thing. The thing we know about Daryl, we randomly have like a hole and we need someone to pick up a deck and play with like no reps and just like go. Daryl can do that and succeed.
Yeah, he top 4 the gathering at the Dominoes with Targ, so.
Oh, he's extremely, and like, he practices.
Daryl is a mechanic.
Exactly. Daryl, like.
Do you think Baltimore was angry that he brought someone into the game that then surpassed him so quickly?
I mean, I know you're joking, but
definitely true.
I'm not really joking. It's like one of those real jokes, you know?
Yeah. I know you laced it with joking, but you are. I see where you're coming from.
Speaking of which, why is Voldemort not on here? He is still in the top 10 Jousting Pavilion points.
Not even a joke. As I was doing the top 16 for the Suns Invitational, like I kept remembering that like Jesse, for all his many, many flaws as a human being, was really fucking good at cards.
Well, I thought Sandy's Shade Room was debating whether or not Jesse cheated or not. I thought that was a live topic.
I'm not in that stupid
How do you know about all this stuff at the Shade Room, Roy? You seem pretty plugged in there.
I have my sources, including Sandy, who's like...
Matt, Sandy, and Allah.
Man, you only talk to like 3 of the 4 people I talk to most every day, so...
I think you were in the Shade Room under a pseudonym.
No, I don't.
He's a mystery knight in the Shade Room!
Oh, man. All right, wait. Let me create that Facebook account right now.
Like, I will ban him from that group if it comes down to it. I've been given very explicit instructions not to allow him in.
Is this from my wife, I assume?
Hi, Allah.
Yeah.
Allah can take it, but Roy can't.
Yes. That is 100%.
Sounds about right.
I mean, 80% of the reason I created this was for Roy and Aaron's mental health. So, like...
I'm not in the other Facebook group. It just kept being in my son's chat, and it needed to stop. Like, the Suns is supposed to be talking about obscure video games and, like, everyone yelling at John to make a certain deck for them. It's not supposed to be everyone bitching all the time. The Suns, sorry. The Lances, not the Suns. Lances is different drama than Suns.
Strangely, both the Shit Talk group and the World Cup seem to be the 2 best things that have happened to the community in a while. People are just calming down a lot more since they can just go vent at the shit group. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, Team Carpool, legit. Because both of those things, I think, came out of the Carpool ride.
Well, Neil's been talking about this World Cup thing for months. But, yeah. I think
don't try to throw shade on Sandy. It was him and Anil's idea. They came together to do this. You're not involved. He didn't talk about it any other time. This is a Sandy moment.
I do think that Anil being like so quickly welcomed into the community has a lot to do with that. I mean, I do think that he was just like, hey, let's just do this. I have this idea. Let's fucking roll with it.
Anil's never asked anybody here for money, right? That's never happened.
He did ask me to give him $30 because he got second place. And he was supposed to give me all the swag. And I said, I guess I'll pay your tournament fee. So we do have a potential con man on our hands.
Oof, too soon.
Oof. You know what else is similar?
No, like his... I gotta say, like,
I saw
his
pictures.
boundless enthusiasm for the game, like just jumping right in with both feet, has been really incredible to watch. Like, and it's kind of just what we need at this point in our history, right? Like, I'm really happy that he's joined
I promise this won't be like the last one.
Damn it, CT! What have I told you about that?
He seems like a really great guy, and it really speaks to how you can port some of those skills that you get from other games over to Thrones and jump right in and be competitive.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice for new players because you can point to him and say like, "Oh, I'm a new player. I don't know how I'm going to do." Well, look at this guy. He picked up a deck, and look how well he did. It's like that mentor
Right.
that something people.
Warhammer,
To be
right?
fair,
That's
though,
a game
Anil
that
is
you
a
can import
massive
things
player.
from, right? It's
Yeah.
Roy?
So no, like legit, I played against Anil without knowing it was Anil on Iron Throne, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Why is he making these amazing plays?" And it was stupid shit. Like it was stuff like, what did he do? It was something like during Winterfell, he played something so I couldn't cancel it, or like I couldn't Begging Brother
That's
because
an
he
amazing
played.
play.
No, I mean like it was something you wouldn't normally do during a Winterfell. Like it was like I forget what it was, but it was something where like normally I'd just Begging Brother it, and it would be something you do at the beginning of challenges. But he waited until he initiated the challenge with Winterfell so that I wouldn't be able to cancel it, so that I wouldn't be able to jump in my fucking Begging Brother to cancel it. I was just very annoyed, and I was like, this is not what a random Iron Throne person should be doing. They should not be thinking this far ahead.
I mean, every time Anil tells you, like, oh, I just took the deck CT gave me and showed up to the tournament, like, he plays like 200 games a week on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
He is the
What's his
fucking
Iron
great.
Throne name?
The Midnight
Mind's
Knight.
Desire.
Mind's Desire.
Which is the magic card for the record.
So, hey, are we going to do Team Canada?
John, tell us Team Canada.
Actually, Team Canada is Sean Emberley and 8 Mystery Knights.
How
One of
many,
them
how
is
many of the
Jake-
mystery
I
knights?
believe one of them is definitely also Matt Gaiman.
Yeah, it's like
How many
John,
of them-
Sean.
I mean,
So,
I
like,
heard that
three
rumor,
three
but
mooses in a trench coat.
I don't know. All Mystery Knights.
Yeah, I'm gonna make Matt really sad. Matt Gaiman is the me of Canada. He should not be allowed near that team.
I
Take
feel
him
like
off.
I feel like they had trouble finding somebody who would play Barra. I think was the issue. Because remember,
Matt
Matt
won't
is
play
the most
Barra.
successful Canadian Barra player of all time with his top 8 performance playing John's half-baked Barra deck that he didn't want to play at that.
When the fuck was that?
Do you not remember this at that Canadian Nationals that Rob St. John won?
Isn't that like 3 years ago? Holy shit! How do you remember that?
He
Because
remembers everything.
He's an adult.
one, I also remember because that was the year that Matt was the most successful Canadian, and it's like, and I kept telling Sean that, and that's part of where Sean had a bad year. The meme comes from because I kept saying that Sean had a bad year and Matt was the best Canadian in the world that year, and Matt's never forgotten it because, and then Sean's also never forgotten. But it's inspired Sean to become
No,
Canadian national champion.
In all seriousness, we actually did something very similar to what you guys did in the U.S. with just a way smaller player base. So we pulled up all the data we could possibly get and took a look at win percentages and talked it through. And as we added people, because, and asked them if they were interested in joining, if they were, then we would add them and we'd start talking with them because we also wanted to try to pick people that might be co-located and can test and work together and have a higher percentage chance of, forming a decent team. We're definitely going to be some underdogs because we just don't have the player numbers that some of the larger countries do.
Like,
But it's going to be
Speaking
a
of
lot of
which-
fun.
We
You
should
brought up
be
a good.
Wait,
Go
Germany
ahead.
should be the favorites.
or Italy.
Mine's gonna be a tangent. It's gonna be for another team.
I'm not playing though, just for the record.
Wait, really?
Yep, I'm just an alternate. I'm going to cheer on the team.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Seems like
I do want to make the point that it's hey, we're getting a live look at CT's kitchen. Nice.
See that blue
I
bottle?
hear they
That's-
lack. I
that's-
hear they
Grab
lack
me a beer,
cabinet
CT.
space.
But I do want to
God,
make
for
the point
3
that like
seconds, you're talking about my fucking kitchen? What?
for this specific tournament, I think that like enthusiasm and willingness to play is like it's a pretty big deal. Like being on these teams and it sounds like it's going to be kind of a grind. There's a lot going on with it, so I think that maybe some of the selections that people are questioning have to do to some extent with people that are really enthusiastic and happy to be on the team, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, I guess I'll play if I want to, or if
Yeah.
I feel like it, or if I'm picked. So
Yeah, I will say, one other national team that is struggling right now is Team Sealand.
Right.
Oh no, they're
Oh.
struggling.
So Team Germany seems incredible, right? Because like their top 3 is stupid.
What is it? Hanno,
Otto,
Leonard,
and Reinhardt.
Carson. Oh, Reinhardt.
Oh.
Yeah, and they have Carson too. Like, yeah.
And they have Carson.
And David. Let's not forget David.
David could wander in and play a Greyjoy deck to be like assuming they have 2 more players, and I'm just gonna guess they have 2 or 3 more players.
Just kidding.
like they just seem like, they're the team that
Murderer's
is
Row.
like.
So is
when
that your
when
favorite
look-
Glazer?
Yeah, when you look at win percentages, they're like upsettingly high.
I mean, Germany is like
They're
very
the
much
best
the competitive Heart of Thrones.
I believe that they're
Isn't
the. It is my belief that they're
going to
the
be on
best.
the German team.
That would not shock me.
So that's
Is Andros playing for his home country, which is what, Austria, right?
He is supporting Team America,
He's
and he was
supporting
a legitimately wildly hard cut. Like there were a lot, but like I specifically I'm a big Andros fan.
I think you're right in terms of pure power players, Glazer, but I'm wondering if they're going to have the same passion that Chris was talking about earlier, as like the Italian meta, because
Yeah.
that is like the passionate meta in Thrones, right?
I don't know if you understand how just they're
How much
not
better they are.
They're just they're just clinically monsters. Like every once in a while, I play like Leonard, and I don't think Reinhardt's even playing good decks anymore. I think he's just playing bad decks and better than people. But like I watch Reinhardt games, and I'm just like, God, I hate you. And every once in a while, I play Leonard, and I'm just like, this is making me very sad. Like, how are you this much better than it's like I play with a lot of good players on a regular basis, and I think the tops of their meta is just mind-blowingly impressive. It's Spain in first edition.
So who's going to start monetizing this and let us bet on the various teams and their performance?
Sandy,
Can someone
where's
get
Jesse?
Can someone get
I
Jesse?
assume Reese is doing that.
Oh god.
Reese. Reese.
That'd actually be kind of fun, to be honest. As long as it wasn't like any big money or anything, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
The
Sandy
one-
used to run a startup about
Say,
sports
Corey.
betting, so there
Well,
you go.
live sports betting, like prop bets on the games as they're going on. Like I actually would love to cover this. Be like, what are the chances he flips Valor next?
I'm
like
listening.
2-1 odds. Like that would be
be
fucking
great.
amazing.
So you should write a program, a skin for the Iron Throne, and then this is how this is really how money is there when you need it, Sandy. Take your 1 penny cut, and then you'll have a whole $100 by the end of it.
I can just see it in the middle of a game. Sandy sends a message to one of the players like, if you don't flip Valor, it's $400 for you.
And then they immediatly flip
Fix is
Valor.
in.
See, if they Valor their whole board
Wait,
away,
wait.
they're like, rip
Yo,
Sandy.
it's past midnight. So UK Thrones War is this weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm going to that. I think.
Yeah, I hear you're a regent.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good team.
So
I'm really the mascot. Buzz is the regent. He just had to pay $28 less than everyone else and be stuck with me. That's how it actually works.
$7. You're the dollar player.
Oh right.
But yeah, no, Buzz has been a machine. Like he's got me and John on call.
Yeah,
Like we're
it's
playing.
been really good.
We ask him if he'll release the games we recorded today. Like
I
after
haven't played that
he's-
much with
he's-
that.
He linked one of them in chat. I thought.
no, release, not
Oh.
send. Like after the tournament, like it's just I thought it was cool because we had to explain all the thought processes behind all the moves and stuff.
Oh, was that the
But-
game that I was playing all the bad decks versus?
Yeah.
Did
I
you
mean-
want real decks though?
I was watching
it's
those
more.
games. They were not against you, Naj.
They were definitely against Notch.
No, I played super bad decks, like just
Yeah.
ridiculous decks. I searched online and picked the top decks that came up, like just randomly from. I'm gonna play
Now I'm
this.
confused. That crossing game didn't seem to be against Naj, but
Both
whatever.
crossing games were against Notch.
Really?
The shadows decks were not against Notch.
You were saying stuff like, I mean, it didn't seem like you would be the type of person to type in chat, "Good move. You did really well there." So that's
I
like-
did. That was me.
Wow.
Pro play, partner.
Now
I wrote that.
That's rename.
Good luck. Have fun.
No. I will
I
say
think it was just a demo the way the decks played.
Yeah,
UK
I was just
Thrones
joking
War-
around there, Sandy.
yeah,
Joke.
the UK Thrones War has been very interesting. It's actually like having been part of, I think, almost every war tournament to date. It's been really interesting to be one, a regent, and two, to see what a completely different meta looks like. For example, I think Team Greyjoy is very strong.
Well, they got Wom.
They got I my favorite to win is actually Night's Watch, because like
Because it's Thrones War.
Kostas, yeah, it's Thrones War. B, the fucking bound to the wall and Yorin is legal. And C, he managed to get every single Builders player. Like it was just, I don't know.
Tomas
I
there?
don't know how we just let that happen.
Someone else is not going. And
Yeah,
he doesn't play Builders.
I have I have Hanno, I have Buzz, I have Bamford, I have most of the London players.
Is
I think
Bamford
actually
put
have
effort
most-
in?
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
I mean, Bamford effort. Are you not in their Discord? It's really fun to watch.
I am not in their Discord. I am not cool.
We have
Blazer.
people that suggest literally every bad card I've never fucking heard of to be like, hey, we should add this to the deck, and I'm like, what the fuck is that even card?
Whatever. Today, after a day of
God.
a weird conversation, one of your players is playing a crossing deck, or the summer crossing deck, and it was just like, ooh.
Another one of my players is decided not to play combo and is instead playing mill. So I don't know. Like,
Got him.
I don't
Yeah,
even
but
care.
that player can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I
Like,
really-
leave him alone.
Really, really hope. I mean, like, my heart is always that Wama wins a tournament that Wama's participating in, because I love Wama. But I really, besides Wama, I really hope that Hano wins all of UK Thrones War with Tyrell Mill. Like,
Like, it's not even impossible. Like, that might happen.
like
Stop
that would
jinxing it.
like that would just be the best throne story of 2019.
Like, he wins German Nats with some Barra bullshit. He goes 7-0 with combo, and then he wins UK Thrones War with a mill deck. Like, that is a trifecta of stupid shit.
So Shu just played a mill deck in the finals. Was it a Tyrell mill?
Yeah, it was
For the
literally
tournament?
Hano. It was literally the
Oh.
deck.
It was Hano.
Yeah.
He was telling me
Well
the
then.
other side of the game. He's like, yeah, I set up Wolf King, so that wasn't great. He had 6 cards left at the end of the game.
That's pure fun.
The banter, as they would say in the UK. All right. Anybody else have any other thoughts about UK Thrones War?
I do want to shout out to Derek though. Grats for winning. 'Cause, he
Oh
won.
yeah, but, yeah.
And Hano for second.
Oh yeah. The individual, the latest, whatever online tournament had Hano against Derek in the fucking final, which is insane, and Derek won. Guys, Derek is good at cards.
He is.
He only has
Derek
a
is definitely one of
design.
the best players
First,
in
first,
second edition.
in first edition, he won a Worlds and came in second at a different. In first, he was pretty good there too.
And he's always been a master at Stark, man. He just does good with those cards. White
That's
cards are
great.
good for him. Wolves, he likes them.
He came in top 4 with Martell at a major tournament. He came in. He's won a couple things with Builders. Like,
Yeah, I
if you-
guess.
To
You're right,
Derek,
he's just
thank
good.
Christ they never reprinted his champ card.
Oh my god, yeah.
I hope it
He
comes
keeps
out someday.
asking for it. And I'm like,
Cheers.
oh my
Was
God.
that Northern Patriarch?
That was
his
Northern
champ
Patriarch.
card?
Yes,
Yeah.
Northern Patriarch.
Fuck that card.
Stark
great
winning Stark
card.
words.
And it actually has one of the best stories behind any card design.
It's true.
It has a great card design.
Well, the
story.
design doesn't. The image has one of the best cards.
Just tell the goddamn
Right.
story.
All right. Long story short, Derek was raised by his grandfather, I believe, right?
Mhm.
And he normally you cannot have the official FFG policy is that you cannot have in your champ picture someone who is not yourself. But Derek specifically requested because of how much his grandfather meant to him, and he was either very ill when the card came out or had just passed away. And FFG granted him a one-time exception to allow the image is not Derek, it is his grandfather, and it says card design by Derek, but dedicated to his grandfather, if I remember correctly, is the full
In memory of.
in memory of, yeah.
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 Pretty solid.
Very amazing. Like, and I apologize if I'm doing the fast version of that, but I'm doing that 100%
We know
from
it's like
memory.
12:20 for you guys.
I'm also doing it from memory.
The point came across.
Yeah.
Hey, are we gonna keep the stream live for the After Dark?
I mean, you do what you want. I'm going to sleep soon.
Is the
Yeah.
After Dark
There's-
TV going and
hey,
getting
guys.
dinner?
Hey, the game is definitely dead. There's only one game happening on the Iron Throne right now.
That's true.
Whoops.
But the
It's not me.
Euros aren't awake yet, and the Americans are starting to go to sleep, right? So
And everyone's watching our show. They're too focused on us
true.
to go.
So
play
we can begin the
games.
wrap-up process of this show. So we will be here for another half an hour.
Post in the chat what I should go get for dinner after the show.
Ramen, jackass.
whatever that. Oh, you don't live near that burrito.
9:30.
place
I don't know
anymore,
if they're going to be open.
right? That
No,
burrito place.
sushi.
You don't
I
live
want
by there
sushi.
anymore, right?
I don't ever want sushi at 9:30.
The one
like
the
sushi
one I
with it.
walked to from Ryan's, that one Thrones War with Simone and Matt. Was it Matt?
Oh.
And
Hey, the mystery knight just turned up.
oh, he's here. He missed all the Sound and Fury. So our next episode will be September 24th. We'll almost certainly be talking about how Hano won UK Thrones
Everything.
War
Won all of our hearts.
with
That
Tyrell
already
Kraken.
happened, right?
We'll probably, hopefully,
I mean,
maybe
Lenart's the Martell player. That's my boy.
have a new
For
restricted
the
list,
record,
maybe not.
I can get ramen right now, Chris, and it's 12:30 here. I can get it delivered. You should
Yeah, but
move
deliver-
to New York.
Must be
Delivery
nice.
delivery ramen is disgusting.
Yeah, maybe where you live. Here it's great.
You know what?
Do it.
If Schoenthal lived
Well-
in LA, I would definitely agree he should move to New York, but he
Mhm.
lives in San Diego, which is definitely the more preferable SoCal city.
It's the only city in California I like.
Preferable.
So,
Green curry sounds good too. Now I'm hungry. Damn you, Schoenthal.
I'll probably.
Got him.
But yeah, so the 24th will be our next episode. I don't think, besides UK Thrones War, which is a closed tournament, so promoting. Are they streaming it, Sandy? Are the Walkers or are they just recording it?
I don't know. We'll find out. Mixing the Cut will probably be live at some point, and
Sure.
it'll be like during a reasonable hour for you guys, but I'll be smashed out of my mind at 3 a.m. So
All right, well,
Hey,
definitely
yo.
Missing the Cut will be covering it. But does anybody else have any tournaments? Oh, I think it will happen just after our next episode.
Bay of Crabs.
Yeah, I was about to say Bay of Crabs. I was just double checking the date. Bay of Crabs is the 21st of September, just outside of Baltimore. From friend of the show, Todd Moyer. You should definitely come down. I'll be there. Sandy, you'll be there, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Teams.
CT will be there. All.
What? I will be at Clash at the Calasar, sir, in Lexington,
Right.
Kentucky.
Right.
There's also
What?
2 or 3 Grand Championships happening that weekend
Yep.
in Europe. I don't remember which ones, but
All right, I don't know how you're all up. I'm too tired. I'm going to sleep. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night,
night.
John.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that seems like a good
Hey,
idea. I
Nash.
think I'm ditching this cast too. This seems useless. Bye, guys.
All right.
All
Wait,
right,
what's
so we're just
Westeros
basically
Blades? Someone
ending
said
the
Westeros
episode.
Blades.
I've actually, honest to goodness, we've been doing this for
Wait,
about 3
Glazer's
years.
got playbills on his wall? I'm shocked.
This has never
Playbills?
happened before.
No, I don't. What? Oh, there's-
Glazer, if I type Westeros Bleeds into my chat at like 3 in the morning, will you just wake up like a spider son?
yes.
He will.
Will your Glazer
Whoa,
tingle
whoa,
go
whoa,
off?
whoa. He'll wake up
Glazer tingle.
and then he'll be like, Westeros bleeds? Question mark. He'll be like, oh, you're up, and he'll be like, shrug.
Wait, the really important thing is I'm gonna listen to the song again before I go to bed now.
All right.
Let it bleed. Let it
Let it
bleed.
bleed.
I love that song.
It's a good
Makes me
song.
so
Fire.
happy. And really
Fire
kind of
track.
sad.
All right, if chat wants to throw us a couple
Questions were actually
outro
good.
questions, we can do that.
No one wants to know shit. So, how much shit are you going to eat when Platt owns Thronestoberfest?
None, because Platt owes me a lot. So the fact that he has, fucked me over in the first J&D one, and then the bus that he threw me under was gigantic and speeding. And then when I asked him to practice for when he was on my team, he refused to. Well, not refused to. He just didn't and told me he did. So yeah. So nothing. I will not eat any crow for that. There's a lot of things in my life I'll eat crow for, including in the Thrones community. But definitely giving Jake Platt a hard time is definitely not one of those things. So.
Hey, Chud's here.
Oh, hey.
Like, man, people who, like quit Thrones still watch this shit. What are you people doing
Wait,
with your time?
Chudspert quit Thrones?
I don't know. When's the last time Chud was that shit?
Oh,
Gen
Platt's
Con?
fine.
Oh, right. Gen Con was a tournament. Right.
He was like,
CT, now that you're on this podcast, can we start doing an L5R segment?
Oh, I thought we became a Magic podcast, right?
Oh,
So-
fuck. I
So, Schoenthal, what do you think? Oh, yep. Let me grab my Magic cards.
So, CT,
I can go grab my
burns
cards,
my
too.
fucking eyes.
just start
Uh,
shrugging. Showing them you care makes them do it more.
I'm
shrug and
incredibly
break
excited
cries.
for Throne of Eldraine. There were some really
I am
amazing,
too. That set looks
amazing
fire.
cards. I'm buying into Simic Flash. It's all gonna be great. Playing breeding pools and
Somebody
Flash
on this
and
cast
creatures.
speak fucking English, please.
What?
Hey, we actually have a question in the chat.
Oh, what's the question in the chat?
When's the
What's the
Harel?
best house to be?
Fuck, it
the
gotta
Banner
be
Bloody
fucking
Cup into?
soon.
Tyrell Kraken Mill. Done. Period.
It's obviously Night's Watch, but I'm trying to come up with any other
Very
answer
cool.
than Night's Watch.
So as,
Yeah, right?
as good as it is in Night's Watch, there's that champ card that's not significantly worse, and it's neutral.
When I woke?
Yes, thank you.
But I mean, when I woke,
I know,
It's a
but I know
fundamentally
that-
different card, though, isn't it? Because you can only do it on
Yes,
the
it's
defense.
fundamentally different card.
They're different cards. They have similar effects, and they
I
work
mean, they have
close
similar
enough. That,
effects, but like their triggering condition is like
Yeah,
really fundamentally different. Like they're not redundant at all. Like there's no.
no, they're not redundant. I'm saying that like if that's the effect you want, then you can build around getting it without having to do a whole banner for it. I think
Except-
Wolf is likely better.
I mean, except since Sea of Blood is like that card was briefly kind of busted when Sea of Blood was the thing.
I mean, spoiler, I played it the other day. It's still good in Night's Watch Wolf.
Okay, maybe it's great in Ice Watch Wolf.
I mean,
We should,
I don't have space for.
We should have a contest. Please email all of your Martell Watch decks to
Oh, sorry.
whalingjennies
Night's Watch
at
Wolf.
gmail.com.
Jesse Carpenter
I don't
loves
think-
CT at.
I don't think Night's Watch, Martell Watch is good.
Probably not. But what if it was?
I mean, I've
Well,
tried
yeah.
to build it. Like every time a new card comes out, I rebuild it, play it for 3 days, and
You
get
know,
sad.
every single time I think
probably
about
not.
Martell Watch, I mean, since we're in like the after, this is Second Sons After Dark. Every time I think about Martell Watch, I think about the very first Dance with Dragons, where Alexander Haynes spent a lot of time working on Martell
Haynes?
Watch,
Haynes?
and then got sick on the train ride to Toronto and couldn't come because he got so ill, and then talked about how he had the best deck for the weekend, but he was too sick to come.
Rip.
Rip. That's what I think
sounds
about
like-
Martell. Every time someone's like, play Martell Watch. I'm like, you mean the deck that caused Alexander Hines to vomit? So
Oh, it's funny,
that
I was
excuse,
sometimes
that
usually making
excuse
fun of it.
might be worse than saying that your mom is sick and you can't come to a wedding.
oh God, I don't know. Of all the excuses that Jesse gave me, that one's way more palatable than my cancer caused me to piss your couch. So
So the interesting thing is, he actually used his stomach was like he was feeling ill to avoid a different wedding, I believe. So, I mean, he ran the gamut. He was versatile.
hey, look, all I'm saying is at least the Lance's picture. Everyone else may hate that picture, but I love that picture, and it doesn't have Jesse in it. So unlike a lot of other Lance's photos, I get to think fondly of that one because it has a lot of the people that I care about in this community in one picture, and thankfully Jesse's not there. So
Another win for the Long Lances.
that is hashtag
We're just
definitely
gonna
another win
replace.
for the Long Lances.
You know that we've contracted somebody to just replace Jesse's face with yours, CT, in every single picture.
I mean,
Like,
all
Mike
we have
Lam-
to do
look,
is
look, Mike Lamtic is in Europe. He needs some money, and he's just gonna go through. Look. Europe's expensive. The exchange rate's not good. He'll just
mean,
go
do
and
the-
replace Jesse with your face. Well, I mean, to be fair, the real secret, all right, Thrones After Dark, is technically the Long Lances belong to Mike Lamzik because Jesse
Yeah.
promised Mike Lamzik that he would pay him for the logo, and hashtag never happened. So technically, the Long Lances.
I don't think he.
Although
I don't think he
belong
would that
to-
need.
We bought him
remember-
a sweatshirt. So.
We did.
Do you know that picture that I posted in Lance's chat the other day?
I
What
don't.
picture?
Oh,
You
that
post a
girl
lot
shirt.
of
Oh,
pictures
girl
in the
shirt.
Lances
The
chat.
girl shirt.
The one that was
Tinder
the
girl.
the Tinder
Yeah,
girl that had our
was
shirt on.
Fantastic.
So like
That's weird.
I'm swiping through Tinder and I was like, is that a fucking Lance's shirt? What the fuck? It turns out there's a
Dodgeball.
yeah, is it
Dodgeball shirt.
Dodgeball? It's like the Average Joe's or something, and it's like the same color scheme, the
Yeah,
same
that's
logo,
the whole
like
joke
the same
of what
font.
Jesse and Mike came up with. But look, all I gotta say is any future complaints about the Long Lances, please direct at the Twitch account SJ Thrones. You can also find them on YouTube, since Mike Lamzik currently owns the trademark, the logo, everything like that. All right.
I wish they would just bitch to me.
Or you can also direct it to @Aaron Glazer at a variety of different things. So
Yeah, no, just come find me if you want to complain about
Hey
shit.
Glazer.
I know how to
Just
mute
send
a
the
conversation.
complaints to me, like when fucking everybody was
Kyle James.
fucking Kyle James, just like any complaints you have, please direct to CT's fucking inbox. And I'll get to work and I'm like, oh, I'll check my messages. 400 fucking messages. Like, what's this fucking garbage?
Beautiful.
Cool.
I hope Mike listens to this again and finds this after dark.
He was on earlier,
He was.
but yeah, it's late in Zurich.
It's true. It's true. He will just say shrug again. I've literally written a dissertation about a subject that I spent hours thinking like, oh, I've got Glazer point by point. I've got him. I'm gonna convince him. It's great. Finally, the discourse
really-
is gonna improve, and it's like, yes, finally. And then I see those three ...
Shrug.
and then the response is shrug.
It's been years, and Roy still hasn't understood that he has to stick Westeros Bleeds in it at least twice
It's true.
for me to
it's
pay
true,
attention.
it's
I do
true.
think one of the things I'm really looking forward to in Thronestoberfest is Glazer's immeasurable disappointment in Platt's performance. Like I think that
So
like,
what
that
we
is
really
gonna-
need to do is
really-
get Team
That's gonna
Martell
keep me
to just
alive.
invest in shrug shirts. Like that should be their team
I-
gift.
I love Team Martell because they're orange. But yeah, I'm not worried about it. I got no
It
hate
has
for
nothing
any
to
other
do with
team.
the stellar characters that are a part of that team, just that it's orange.
I like 2 of you. 4 of you. I like the Regents too. I don't actually know who the fuck else is on that team.
Ouch.
You
You don't know
and
who
your
the
wife.
mystery. So between Jess and Tom, who you're being very unfair towards, which one do you not like?
Oh, no, Tom doesn't like me, so I don't have to pay attention to Tom.
What?
Oh,
That's
fair.
literally
Is
not
that-
true. Like
is that
literally, Malucci.
like-
The last time I saw him at Lord of the Crusty 2 was like, I love Glazer.
I don't believe it. Evidence suggests that Luke secretly hates me. That's what I'm going with.
Hey, what team is Kyle Vansel on?
The
Mine.
Golden Company, the Golden Shower.
Ours,
No,
but also ours.
Ruined Surface. He's on our team. We have Vansel and Palmer too. Jenkins, Sam, James Abel.
Yeah, okay.
Best front teams I've
Pretty good.
seen in a while.
It's gonna be a good team. How you got Vance
Kyle,
for $10?
after Gen Con 2013, Kyle Vance is not allowed to hold start cards around me. So
Well, but what you really need to do is just you need to pray to the pairing gods that number one, no one on Team Night's Watch plays Rat Cook, because that's just a free win for Team Night's Watch if Kyle gets paired against them. Like he cannot control himself. If he even
No, but-
smells Rat Cook, he smells what the rat is cooking, he'll just lose his mind and be like, I can't handle it. I can't handle
Kyle's
it.
gonna-
I can show you. I
like-
can show you the chat evidence.
I believe you. But it's,
Ugh.
yeah. I really have people I like on my team. And,
You have a
like,
great team.
we're going to do fine. Like, it's just good people. I'm happy.
You
There's
got
a bunch of
Kyle.
people-
Meanwhile, Schoenthal dies inside. Like,
Oh.
God,
It-
I can't
why?
move it.
I love our team too.
No, like, it's, like, I would
I
not
just want
draft
to
someone.
win.
I would not draft someone Sean Paul didn't like. Like, under any circumstances. Obviously.
My team is full of darlings and Tom McKenzie.
My
Well,
nemesis.
think
Well,
I've
luckily you
ever
don't
had
get
a
a free
conversation
win
with
by
him.
because Sandy's not in the draft pool
God.
or playing,
Like,
so
it's the fucking
Mackenzie has to
worst.
earn all of his wins. So
It's literally it's worse than when me and Dave Stroms in first edition, like which I at least got him down to a true tie once. I can't even get Tom to a tie. God, like six
Laser,
games.
you
I'm
met Tom
6-0
McKenzie. He was
versus
at
him.
Thronestoberfest last year.
I've met him multiple times. I don't think we ever had a real conversation.
you met him at Thrones War, Thronestoberfest. I'm trying to think of
I-
multiple
I'm
other
not-
events that
I
you met
didn't
him.
say
Red
Red
I
Saturday
didn't
he came to he came to not last year's Red Saturday, but the year before.
The year before.
I
yeah.
didn't say I
Midwest
didn't meet him. I said I don't think we spoke at any length. Like I don't think
I
we
mean,
really
when
know
you're
each
just going
other.
around shrugging at everyone, Glazer, do you really speak with
You-
anyone?
You assholes joined this podcast.
Not everyone speaks fluent shruggery.
You do.
Yeah, I do. I really fucking do. That's why you like me so much. Because
It really is.
I'm like I didn't even know there was another person in the world who typed out shrug as often as I fucking did.
You know where it comes from? It actually, you would love him. I don't think you know him, but it comes from Chris Lavin. Like I
really?
talk to
Oh, okay,
talk-
yeah.
See,
I talk to Lavin all the time, and he's always just like, "Yeah, shrug," and I'm like, "Man, that is the best fucking response. I should have just done that."
See, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Glazer. I feel like I've known Chris long enough. Chris does it in ways that it's like appropriate. Like, hey, did you see the Eagles game on Sunday? Shrug. He doesn't care.
like-
He lives in Boston.
Wait,
Glazer. So this would be Aaron. Aaron.
Wait,
My
don't
grandmother,
understand.
she has cancer. I'm really upset. I'm sad. Like, this is crushing. I've never had a
Wait,
loss
does
like
she
this in my life.
Cancer or
Oh, real
I
cancer.
mean-
Real cancer. Real virtual cancer in this case. And then you'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sad. I've never faced death like this. I've never had a loss like this in my life. And you're just pouring your soul out. And then those three dots of somebody typing. Shrug.
shrug?
Wait, time out. It's never like my grandmother has cancer. Whenever Roy has a real problem, whenever it's a work thing, whenever it's like a thing, I give real thoughtful responses. Roy's like, "Oh my god, this Thrones drama is blowing up, and now people," and like, I'm just, yeah, you're gonna get a shrug. Sorry, it's Thrones. I don't like. Thrones has gotten me angry like 4 times ever, and they're all in the last month.
Ouch.
Well, 2 months. You know, summer.
Luckily, we created a group where we could vent all that frustration.
I'm not in it. I don't need that shit. I've started just muting Thrones conversations left and right. Like, it's just, I'm like, mute, see you in 8 hours. Then I come back and the drama's over.
Fair.
Seems like a great place to stop.
All right. Well,
Mute
we're
us
going to
now.
mute this
Mute it.
chat. And thank you all for joining us for our little post-show shrug.
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 I don't know how to stream, or I'd launch a Missing the Cut after this where people can call in.
You literally just fucking do Missing the Cut on Facebook.
Time out.
All right.
How are you this fucking bad at technology? You are literally the person I know that gets paid most for his, like, acumen with technology.
Shrug.
Got him.
Got him indeed. All right, dog. That is a really good one. Thank you all for watching. We love you. See you in 2 weeks.